Hey guys, Tim here with the Long Hair Gardener, and today I am going on another stroll through Philadelphia, and I am so glad that you are joining me today. So today we are going down Locust Street. I am walking from 10th all the way down to Front Street and then back again. So yes, we are walking 20 blocks, and it's a little hot out here, I'm not gonna lie. I will put our weekly forecast up here on the screen just so you can see what is coming in our future, and it is looking a little rough. So today is actually the coolest day, so I'm trying to get this done so I'm not out here in the 100-degree temperatures. But anyway, I have already started walking down Locust Street, and I have not seen a lot of flowers so far, which is a little disappointing. But Locust Street does run right through Washington Square Park, which is where I am standing right now, and there are quite a few flowers in here. So hopefully this is going to make up for the lack of flowers that I have experienced so far on the streets. So let's get started here in Washington Square Park, and hopefully as I get closer to Front Street, that's down by the river, we'll hopefully find some more plants to look at. Also, I should probably note, like I said, it is hot. I am pale, so that means I have a ton of sunscreen on, so that's why I look extra shiny today. I'm trying not to get burnt out here. So let's go ahead and get started and see what kind of plants we can find today on our Philadelphia stroll. Walking by some hostas here, and these leaves are gigantic. Just want to show you real quick how huge these are. I'm not used to seeing like the variegated leaf varieties that are so huge. Here we have a really pretty clematis going up the railing of this person's steps. Let me just step back here so you can get the full shot of what's happening. But it kind of looks, oh, maybe this is white. I was gonna say, is this pale purple? But I guess it is maybe just white. I do have sunglasses on, so can't quite tell what color we're looking at. How can I resist walking by my favorite, or one of my favorite cats? And this is Celine, according to her little plaque. So we're just gonna stop and say hello to her. She's actually awake. She's usually sleeping when I walk by. So this is Locust Street right here, and as you can see, it runs right into the park. It's gonna continue on the other side, but we are gonna be able to walk right through the park here, and I am actually going to walk around the border of the park, because as you can see, there are tons of beautiful plants here, starting with these hydrangeas, and there are some heuchera down here as well. And look at this brunnera. I have one. I love the foliage on this plant. I do have a brunnera, but it's always very small. I'm not sure why. I've had it for 2 years now. I got it from a mail catalog, and honestly that's not always the best decision, but I was having trouble finding them in person. There's some more heucheras down here with some beautiful veining in this foliage, and look at all of the astilbes here. All of these plants that we're looking at right now are primarily shade-loving plants. They are under some really huge trees here, so I'm sure they do get some dappled sun throughout the day, but we're mostly looking at shade. And look at these hydrangeas back here. I don't really want to step into the garden, but trust me when I say these balls up here, clusters of flowers, are absolutely humongous. So let's just keep walking here around. There are a couple cone flowers back here. I'm sorry I'm not really getting as close as I would like to, But I'm trying to be respectful here and not walk inside the flower bed. This is another plant. I saw this recently and I forget the name. I did look it up. Hopefully I can put it up on the screen. But this is a new plant that I've never seen before. Definitely has a really interesting bloom. It gets quite large, as you can see. Some more of these heucheras down here. Looks like we are doing some kind of maintenance or work over here. Maybe we're cutting some limbs, so I may not be able to get close to all of these plants over here. But looks like right here we have some really pretty hydrangeas. This one is gigantic. So we're gonna walk past these people and continue on the other side. All right, I've already been distracted. I said we were going to the other side, but I thought we need to check out the center of the park here because there's a beautiful fountain. There's also a memorial here that is lined with stunning hydrangeas. We'll walk over to the memorial here in just a second, but like look at these. They are gorgeous. They're on either side. Let's see how close we can get. Looks like there is a flame here that is always burning, and this is what the memorial looks like. And I do want to walk over here and just take a look at these hydrangeas. Look how pretty these are. It looks like maybe they are pale pink. Oop, there's a bird running beside me. Look how huge these are. These are almost white, and honestly, I do love a white flower, but it does look like it has just a little bit of pink showing through. We've got some more hydrangeas here behind the memorial. So let's continue. We're gonna just walk past this water fountain and go along the side over here and see what else we have. I suspect they're more of the same plants that we just saw, but it's definitely worth a look. There is no shortage of squirrels in this park, and there's like 3. There's like one here, one's running this way right now. You can get really close to these guys because I think people feed them a lot, but they are running around all over in this park. All right, we're on the other side of the park, and as expected, we have some repeats of what we already saw. So tons of astilbe over here. There's also some helleborus tucked in here. Some more of these beautiful hostas that we saw earlier. And let's just walk around here. We are going to be walking into the sun in just a second, but let's see if I can walk across here real quick. It is a beautiful sunny day. It's just a little warm, although I have to admit right now in the shade it's not really that bad. Oops, there are birds flying everywhere. It looks like we have some angelonia down here, so there are a few annuals. So right here there's some yarrow, which is just starting to bloom. Some more astilbes, more humongous hydrangeas. Look at this oak leaf hydrangea here. It is gigantic. We've got some more things here that aren't quite in bloom, and then look at all of these coreopsis. They look fantastic here in the sunlight. All right, I think there's a random butterfly weed down here, not quite in full bloom. Whatever this plant is right here, it is starting to bloom. It has an interesting little flower on it. Okay, and like I said, we are now on the other side of the park, and I'm gonna walk down this little walkway right here. There are some beautiful pots, and there are some more hydrangeas over here. Trying to get a better view of these hydrangeas up here, but it's not really working out for me. I did notice up top here, this building has tons of trees and plants up there. I bet that is a gorgeous garden, and of course it has an amazing view of Washington Square Park here. But let's just mosey along here. I think we know what hydrangeas look like, but I was hoping to get a closer look. But let's take a look at these pots over here, because these are quite beautiful. Look at the nice lime color here. Oops, let me adjust the camera. Of these hostas. I really like the contrast of this like pine, and I just realized it is kind of tall next to these like tropical like house plants. Got some begonias in here. Sounds like we may also be doing some construction work behind me, so hopefully that's not too annoying. Looks like we have a lot of repeats here. More of these begonias. I know there are, here we are, there's one tucked in here, but I think there's some bigger ones as we go along. There should be some bromeliads, or did I just pass the only bromeliad? Sorry for the noise. This is part of living in the city. Here we are. Look at this. I love this tree too. I have to like climb underneath here to look at this bromeliad. This is, I don't know the name of this bromeliad off the top of my head, but I also have this same variety in my garden, in the spheres that I have up in the tree. Beautiful like striping in the foliage. So there are a couple of those in these pots here. But oh, there's a random house plant in here too. Okay, let's just keep moving here. I think the park saved us, because the first portion of this walk through Locust Street, I did not see anything. So thankfully we did run into the park, and there were some nice things to see. Hopefully the rest of this walk, we're on 5th Street now, so we have 5 more blocks. Hopefully we can find some other planters as we walk along here. So just a block or two past Washington Square Park, there is another small park with a few flowers that I think are worth just taking a quick look at. So let's go ahead and take a look at those flowers. Got a couple ageratums tucked down here. What really drew me in was this little fountain over here. I love a garden that has a water feature. I guess there's not as many plants in here as I thought. There are a lot of dogs. And there's a little fountain over here as well, but I don't want to disturb this lady. There's a hydrangea. Oh, and there's a cemetery right here in the background. Okay, so maybe not as many flowers as I was hoping, but there are all these little hidden pockets in Philadelphia. All right, I just found this little walkway that we're gonna also walk down here in just a second, that has quite a few lilies. If you live in Pennsylvania, I just fell in a hole. If you live in Pennsylvania, you probably recognize these lilies right here. They do grow wild along the roads. I remember these as a kid just basically being everywhere. I think they're pretty. These are absolutely beautiful. These are not the ones that grow wild. And it looks like we have some really nice red ones here as well. I love the spacing in between each petal. There's like a nice gap here. But this color right here is very nice. Hopefully the sun is not too intense. It looks like we have a rose bush here. We'll come in for a closer look. Very tight petals. Some more red ones, and then there is a beautiful magnolia tree right here. You can see there's a bud right here. And up top here there are a few in bloom. Okay, there's one right over here. Just pull this down a little bit so that you can take a look. This little area right now that we are looking at is actually new to me. I have mentioned before, I have lived in the city half my life, and it's always fun to come across little sections of the city that I have never been in before. Yes, it is a huge city, so that maybe isn't a surprise, but like I have covered a lot of ground over the last few decades. There are some ostemurias here. This is my mom's favorite flower. And these are quite beautiful. There's a pink version here in the middle as well. Got some vincas. There's a hellebore here. Got some petunias. There's like a bunch of random plants in here. I wonder if this is maybe just a community garden. I'll spin around here. I mean, there are houses right here behind me, so maybe people that live here just kind of pop some flowers in, which is wonderful. I'm not gonna go back there, but I don't see anything in bloom. We'll just keep walking here. Believe it or not, we are almost at the end of this walk, which how did that happen so fast? I don't know. Look at how tall this is. So this is Russian sage, and I did just touch it and I can smell it immediately. Has a very distinct scent to it, not in a bad way. It's just, if you've ever touched Russian sage, you will know that it does have a scent. I think this is a restaurant, maybe. I think we can walk over here. There are tons of hydrangeas. I feel like that's all I've been showing you today are hydrangeas and astilbes. Let's just walk over to these planters. There's a couple caladiums, coleus, and some begonias down here too. We'll just walk right over. I'm pretty sure this is a restaurant. There's a huge pot right here. There's some geraniums. There's some foxgloves here in the middle, and there's, ooh, I should not touch those. Those have aphids. Sorry for pointing out your bugs, people, but they, yeah, they're pretty bad. All right, let's see what else we have here. Lots of shade under these trees, so all of our usual suspects are planted under here, and there is nothing wrong with that. Look how beautiful. I love the ferns, love a good hosta. I think foliage plants are just as beautiful as plants that produce blooms, especially when you you know, pair them together with contrasting foliage. Like you have this dark heuchera right here next to this like chartreuse hosta. These hostas look incredibly healthy. Like the leaves are so shiny and flawless. They are very happy where they are living. So this is residential apartment buildings right here. I see a few more heucheras that are looking extra nice, so let's just take a little stroll over here. I think this is the one that I had. Of course I can't remember the name of it. Surprise, surprise. We'll just come down here. I love that the underside of these leaves are a different color than the top. So as the wind blows or there's movements, you kind of get a view of both colors. Let's just walk back around and see. I believe on the other side of this building right here, there is a bank, and there should be some things planted over there. Well, the bank is here as promised, but I'm not seeing anything planted here. So I think that is pretty much it. Have we reached the end of Locust Street? I think so. A little hard to see because they are up high, but there are some nice planters up here on the wall. Like these are really beautiful up here. And although you are not, or we are not at eye level, like this really adds a nice pop of color on an otherwise colorless wall. So it's nice that somebody has decided to put these up here. And look at these begonias. They are so beautiful. Hopefully I'm not blinding you with the sun. It is of course not a plant, but I also like showing you guys just the little architectural details and artwork that people have on their houses or around their houses. I mean, even this gate here is really pretty, and I think it's worth taking a moment just to admire what other people have done. One plant that I did not get this year, but I absolutely love, is an asparagus fern, specifically a foxtail fern, which is what these guys are right here. There's also some sweet potato vines and some petunias in here, but ooh, and there is a really nice bromeliad back here against the wall. Some more of these foxtail ferns. I think they are just so beautiful. I also love that they kind of move around in the wind, and there is a really stunning pot up here. I think it looks like it's made of wood, and I love that the plants that they chose to put in there are kind of like creeping down through the cracks, especially here on the right side. There's a whole family of creatures up here on the wall, which is fun. Nice little, you know, I don't want to say hidden, but like not everybody sees that, and it's a fun little surprise if you do look up there. Really walk by this cat that is in the window. He sees me. He's so cute. Well, we made it to the end of the line. I think you can see the Locust Street sign here right behind me. So yeah, that was Locust Street. Hope you enjoyed this walk. We're gonna end it here next to this interesting looking bird. Kind of looks like an owl, but like in a really creepy kind of way. Not sure what the story is there behind him. Society Hill Sculptures by Leonard Baskin, dedicated to the residents of Society Hill. it would probably be helpful if I read the sign. So that's his story, but the sign doesn't tell us what kind of bird he is. Anyway, that is everything for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this very warm walk. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next garden video. Have a great day.